People like me bought into a lie a long time ago about success. Bought into a lie so many years ago about like just how to make money, how to be creative, like so many myths and so many things we were taught from our grandparents, like our parents, growing up where I grew up in poverty, growing up in, I ain't gonna say pretty much the hood. It was kind of in and out, but I just don't remember us learning about money in a way that lets us know that we can be creative and create money. Like everything I pretty much learned was hard work in the sense of manual labor. It's not hard work as in, hey, put your mind to work to create something that people gonna need. We forget that everything on this earth was created by someone. It came from someone's imagination. It came from something that God instilled in us a long time ago, and that's the just to be creative. And like one of my favorite mentors, who I listen to all the time, said, we were created by a creator. And when you look in Genesis 1, and the first thing you learn about God is God created. And then we look around on the earth, everything we got, everything we do is created. It's created out the minds of someone. I'm sitting here just reflecting, looking. I came downtown to go work on a few things, and I realized like everything I look at, it came out of somebody's imagination, no matter what it is. Like everything came out of someone's imagination, from a sign, colors, the cars I'm sitting in, the hat I'm wearing, like the watch, like everything. But we weren't taught that. Like I'm a southern guy. I was born here in Florida. So, I grew up late 80s. Well, I was born in 82, so my understanding came around like the late 80s, the 90s, and growing into the 2000s as an adult. And I come to realize like I don't remember being taught even in school. Like not in school, not family, not friends. No one set me down and said, "Hey, you realize your mind, your ability to think and create can make money appear out of thin air." I never was taught that. I never knew that. I never learned that lesson until now. You know, we so caught up in old way of thinking. Like we're not in the industrial era no more. We don't live in the manufacturer era anymore. We don't live in the agricultural era anymore. So everything I see people do, everything I know, like family, friends, everybody doing some type of service work that requires manual labor. Like I'm one of the first, and I got other relatives, I got family members, so it's not everybody, but from like people I know in conversations and things I've talked about, everybody like start this business, but it's always something wrapped around manual hard labor, or get this good job doing this, get this degree in this, whether it's medical, which is all noble, which is all understandable, but why isn't where the conversation going around in these families, at least in my family or my circle of people, who saying, hey, you got an idea for that thing, how about creating something that helps people to do that thing? Like it's okay to do manual, it's okay to create manual work, but create solutions to those manual work. So to every manual thing, everything in life that is created, it opens room for more opportunities of things to be created. Let's take the phone. I'm recording on the phone. Let's take my iPhone. The person who created the iPhone opened the doors for so many people to create apps. Why aren't we taught that? It opened the door for people to create logos, cases, Just things out your imagination to grow and create more things. Like that's why I say it's okay to do manual labor. But who are teaching these young black men, these young black girls, these young Hispanic, like who's teaching them that it's more to life than manual labor? Like that book idea you got in your mind. If you can't create it, record yourself talking about it. Like a lot of people complain that they can't read the education level, a lot of different things. Record yourself talking about these stories. Pay someone to create it. That's a create. Like when people tell stories, storytelling has been around for forever. Whether it's fact or fictional, you're creating a body of work out of your imagination that draws people in and brings forth money. Like plays and all that stuff that was created, that's not manual labor. Somebody wrote those stories, like somebody created that, somebody told story. Like why aren't we being taught this? Why everything we got to learn has to be something dealing with manual type? Open up a restaurant, start a whatever. At what point are we going to start teaching our children to create things that are beyond our hands and more in our minds? When are we gonna start teaching kids that money does grow on trees? Money does appear out of thin air. We never was taught that, and that's the craziest thing about it. So, I sit back and I think all the time, and I talk about it a lot now, and I teach my kids this. You know, I understand school. I love school. You know, I'm not gonna say school. I love education. I love the ideal of learning. But I just don't believe outside of becoming an engineer, doctor, lawyer, all this stuff, we're pushing our children to go to school for what? We're not pushing them for the future. We're pushing them for the past. We're pushing them to go to school to do things that we're not even in the era for. Like, who's going to create? And I'm sure it's already out there, but what new kid is going to create something that can build buildings by itself? Something in their imagination. We got so many things in our imagination that we think of, and then years later we be like, "Oh, I thought about that years ago," but we never act on it because we're not taught to think out with our imagination. Where I'm from, we taught get a good job, go to school, get your education, get a degree, get a business that service people. Like our voice is creativity. Like some people got crazy, like they sing amazing. Some people can tell a story like crazy. Some people can convince you of anything. Some people can sell you anything. But we're not taught to use that skill or those skills. We're taught to create something that we have to do by hand. And I don't know if it's in our community where we just think that's noble, or we think that's just the way to do it, or that's an honest day pay. But people get paid off just talking. I'm talking. People get paid off of just like we. I think the highest level we think of sports and maybe acting or singing at the highest level of creativity. But it's people like app builders, people who create video games, people who create graphic design companies, marketing teams, like people who are salespeople. Like it's so many skills and so many things that we can use and do to create a life way better than just using our hands and just creating a service job that is manual. And for that, I would tell anybody who's listening, begin to teach your kids, begin to talk to your friends about the imaginations and the things that are in your mind that hasn't been released or that you haven't released. Let your kids express their selves. Let them learn. Put them in the books. Put them around places, like take them to places where they're going to see creativity and watch how they begin to creativity. Quit forcing that old outdated mindset on them. Every kid in the hood shouldn't want to be either medical or anything like that. Find some engineers or find some designers. Find some people who create apps, create games, this stuff that gains trillions of dollars, who want to build spaceships and stuff. Let's get off this simple-minded ish where all we think about is the hands-on work. We don't have to be the hands-on labor anymore. We can go so much higher. We can do so much more, and I teach my children that. I tell them, I let them write books and stories now. I don't wait until they get older to start exploring their minds because I daydream. Y'all get back to daydreaming. Get back to it. It's a lot of things that we don't do because we just don't think it's noble work. That's just my rant. I appreciate y'all checking it out. Peace.